Hey folks, coming to you with another video on cylinder boring. Talk a little bit about the two-cycle world. And this is I believe it's like a YZ, oh no, I'm sorry, it's an RM 125. So a Suzuki RM 125. I'm on the last cut and it cleaned up relatively quickly. There are a few pitfalls we'll talk about. Let me start my boring process and go the other way. There we go. Helps to go forward instead of backward. And I don't know, on camera here it looks like I'm taking out a swath. You can see the light reflect from the tool path. And it's really only taken about total of 4 thousandths. You know, on these small bores, I can even hog, if I've got a cylinder I'm going to bore that's, let's say, we're going to go a millimeter oversized for some reason. This one was 1/2 millimeter, so 20 thousandths. I could hog more because the cutter's closer to the bar and it has less pull. When the cutter goes around, it tends to do this, you know, microscopically, not woggling 20 thousandths in there or anything, obviously, because I'm only cutting 4. But it has tool pressure. The tool pressure tends to pull the bar outward, so small cuts. Anyway, this particular piston we're going to use is a Wiseco. Looks like we got 1.5 thousandths clearance. And right now, when I'm done boring, I'll be right at about 1/2 thousandths under 0 on my dial bore gauge. Should be anyway. It's kind of what I set it up for this last cut. Now, I leave 2 thousandths to hone. There'll be just slightly more than 2 thousandths to hone because I think it's just under that 0 mark. But anyway, typically it's got I believe 1 ring. It's a 1 ring piston. So there's the piston, and it's got these little holes. Well, you see that arrow? Those little holes run on the back side, on the exhaust side. The reason for that is there's what they call a bridge. If you look down through here, you can see the cylinder boring, and that bridge is right in between those 2 holes. Now that bridge heats up and expands and does goofy things quickly, so they put those holes in there to offer more lubrication right on that bridge. And you also have to stone that bridge back and give it a little more clearance right in the bridge area when you're done machining, when you're done honing, that is. Actually stone it back maybe even another 5 thousandths and give it more clearance right there. Otherwise it'll score a piston, and that 1 ring, that 1 lonely ring that does it all, will stick. It'll score, stick in the piston. So that's one thing you want to remember when you're boring a 2-cycle cylinder, and those are called exhaust valves. They kind of work like a poor man's turbocharger, I guess you might say. Kawasaki has them, Honda has them, Suzuki has them, obviously. And they're just a little aluminum set of valves with angles cut at them that vary the port, the exhaust timing, or the exhaust port, I should say, as throttle response varies. So, about done with this, the boring part of it. I'm going to go over and hone it and do all that off camera, but yeah, there'll be slightly more work to do to it after the honing process. Let's see, I'm going to stick this in here, and yeah, we're about 1/2 thousandths under 0. Right where I wanted to be. And she's done cutting. Did a nice job. It wasn't doing anything crazy when it was hitting the ports. And you can see down in the cylinder bore there. So then I'll hone it, I'll chamfer the ports, which means bevel the ports all the way around for the customer. I'll also relieve that exhaust bridge so that there's no chance of that making the piston fail. I can't control the rest of it. Carburetion's a big thing. You know, exhaust is a big thing. Air leaks are a bigger thing. So this is a customer cylinder, basically going to go back together by them. They're going to do all of the correct steps, hopefully, to make sure it doesn't have an air leak before riding the thing hard, because these things zing. These will hit like 10,000 RPM right now, and they're wicked little 2-cycle engines. So that's it. Just wanted to explain a little bit about some of the 2-cycles that are out there that have these exhaust ports on them, and what you need to do if you're machining and or adding another. Some have a chrome bore, and you can hone it slightly and add a couple tenths over larger piston. Depends on the year and things. This had a cast iron bore, obviously. That's why I'm machining it. So that's it. Stay tuned.